This section of the presentation is about eliciting evidence of learning using learning centers and daily routines. We know that one way to elicit evidence of learning is through the use of assessment tasks that are aligned to the construct progressions. But there are other ways. It's important to give children multiple ways to show us what they know and what they can do. So let's look at how you might be able to elicit evidence of learning during the daily routines which are established and as children work in learning centers you may be using. We know that kindergarten classrooms from one end of the state to the other look different. There are differences in the way teachers set up, organize, and manage their classrooms, but all teachers are working hard to identify and meet children's needs. And the formative assessment process helps all teachers do exactly that. One way teachers across the state are eliciting evidence of learning is through the use of learning centers. Now, a learning center may contain content-specific tasks assigned by the teacher, or may be set up such that the child self-selects a task, or it even may be a combination of both, where the teacher has assigned tasks and there are self-selected tasks available. Another way teachers elicit evidence of learning is during daily routines. There are many routines which are common to kindergarten classrooms, from morning arrival to afternoon dismissal, and in between come routines related to large group times, small group instruction, preparing for lunch, cleanup time, and so forth. Both center work and routines offer teachers many opportunities to observe children and to engage in the formative assessment process. Again, it's the idea of giving children every opportunity to show us what they can do. We have put together 2 resources on the wiki to help guide your observations and your process of eliciting evidence of learning as your children work in centers and go through the routines of the kindergarten day. You will notice that each resource is directly aligned with the understandings and skills for each KEA construct progression. So let's take a look at the guide for learning centers. This is just a small slice of that document, which is actually a spreadsheet. Please note that this is not the entire document. The one on the wiki has much more content, but this shows you how it's organized. When you open it, you will see all the constructs tabbed at the bottom. They're not visible here. The first columns of each construct worksheet lists the understandings and skills related to that construct. Understandings will be highlighted in yellow, and skills related to that understanding follow below. The top row lists centers that are in the classroom, and you will see additional ones when you go to the resource. Under each of the centers are examples of what you might see children doing in those centers. For example, the construct shown here is counting objects. In the math center, you could observe a child as he plays a math game that the teacher has asked him to do, or one he self-selects. So pay attention to how he counts there. Is he counting randomly, or does he have good one-to-one correspondence as he counts? And then you can find where he is along the construct progression. Think of the skills as the look-fors. And here is a similar guide in design and organization, but for the routines of the day. It's another slice. Again, there's much more content on the wiki. The constructs are tabbed at the bottom. Understandings and skills are listed in the first columns. And here we see the routines of the day listed across the top in the first row. The construct, again, is object counting. So during arrival time, you could listen to children's responses to prompts related to a sign-in chart, such as how many boys are here today or how many girls. At lunch, children might bring their milk cartons back to the class to determine the class's favorite drink of the day. How many chose white milk? How many chose juice? In your handouts, you have 3 pages. One lists evidence of learning for learning centers. There's a back and front. And the other lists evidence of learning for daily routines, back and front as well. There is also a template for planning how you could elicit evidence in a center or during a routine in your day. The evidence may stem from something you see naturally occurring or from some learning opportunities you intentionally provide. You can use these handouts as a guide. For example, you might decide you want to start with the following directions construct, and you choose to observe for those skills during a lunchtime routine. And you decide to look for following 1, 2, or 3-step directions, verbal expression of children, and their use of positional words. So you see children preparing for lunch, washing hands, getting lunch boxes. Once in the cafeteria, do the children follow the directions for getting lunch trays, finding seats, then bussing their tables, lining up and exiting the cafeteria? So we encourage you to try this out in your classroom. Start slowly. Choose just one center or just one routine and grow from there. You will be amazed at the amount of learning evidence you can gather.